it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you to this very important occasion, which is part of the Sight Day celebrations. In particular, I feel very happy to our female engineering colleagues who have come up wholeheartedly to participate in the Sight Day celebrations. In this respect, I would like to thank the two great panelists whom we shall be hearing from during today's event. I also recognize their contributions, which have gone a long way to add value to HAC, SIGHT, and entire IEEE, while also inspiring female engineers to contribute to the advancement of technology. I'll begin my presentation by taking you through on about what IEEE SIGHT and the SIGHT Day event is all about. Well, Women in Engineering has various activities in celebration of the 25th anniversary in 2022. The past 25, next 25, that is 12 of Women in Engineering current and past chairs panel discussion, December. This one was one of the events that was held in 2021, where 12 of Women in Engineering current and past chairs had a panel discussion. And there was also an extraordinary Women in Engineering Science Seminar and Science Technology Seminar series. We have a link which you'll be able to be free to access. W2W Tech, that's Women to Women Tech Ideas dedicated to women competition. It was a showcase at IEEE Women in International Leadership Conference in 2022 June. There was also a 12-hour live event with Women in Engineering chairs across IEEE regions. There was also a behind a successful woman nominated a man who supports the advancement of women. So these are some of the activities that are planned, the celebrations of the 25th anniversary within this year, 2022. Next slide, Diana. Well, what is SIGHT? And it's imperative that we all get to know what SIGHT is all about. SIGHT is a global network of IEEE volunteers who partner with underserved communities, basically, and local organizations to leverage technology for sustainable development. Apparently, we have over 28,165 individual SIGHT members in 130 countries. This gives us an approximately 71% who are students or graduate students. SIGHT encourages members to form groups to learn about sustainable development, build relationships within their local communities, and as well as implementing projects that utilize technology in order to tackle key challenges within those communities. Since SIGHT's inception in 2011, about 207 SIGHT groups have been established in 54 countries. Next slide. What is SIGHT Day? IEEE SIGHT Day is held mainly to foster a spirit of community for the global SIGHT network. It also looks at increasing awareness of IEEE SIGHT within the entire IEEE. It also looks at promoting the opportunity to support SIGHT financially and celebrate the impact SIGHT volunteers and groups are making. Activities have been held from 25th and they will end on 3rd May, which is today. And definitely all these activities have been recorded, and you definitely feel free to access all the recordings of all the activities that have been held. On the first day, we had an opening session with IEEE President Ray Ryu. We also had the HAC Chair, Mr. Sampath, and myself. 3 SIGHT group socials for the entire IEEE SIGHT group leaders and members is also one of the activities that we've had in this year's event. The 2021 SIGHT Awards presentation ceremony is also another activity that we had. Joint sessions with other IEEE programs, this today's event, we are happy to have women in engineering engineers, women in engineering affinity group. We also had a site trivia challenge. There also a share your site story activity as one of the site day activities.
Thank you, Luanga, and welcome again to Ms. Simay Akar, who's serving currently on the HAC side, Humanitarian Activities Committee, as the 2022 Communications Chair, and Dr. Ramalatha Marimuthu, who's the Ombudsman for the IEEE Computer Society this year in 2022. Now we'll have some time to hear a little bit more from our panelists about their experiences, both with IEEE HAC, with IEEE SIGHT, and with IEEE Women in Engineering. Simay, we're going to go ahead and ask you to share your thoughts and experiences first.
Thank you very much, Juliana. It's a pleasure being in this session because we're so passionate for humanitarian activities and also women engineering and many other fields. But you know, here having Ramalatha as like one of the most respected leader in the field, in this same panel, and celebrating IEEE SIGHT Day and Women in Engineering 25th anniversary at the same time. So that's why it's very, very special. So I'm very, not even emotional because, you know, over the years, you know, just like we are dedicated to this field and all these voluntary experiences with the same mission and mission, and we had a lot of experiences together. Now it's time to share and inspire and get inspired from each other in this session. So I'm so excited. So let me start introducing myself. This is Simay Akar. Today I'm connecting from Istanbul. I live in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm from Turkey section in the IEEE structure, and I'm an entrepreneur in my day job in the battery storage field. So I'm passionate for the clean energy technologies. But my journey started as a student volunteer from 2007 with IEEE, and it's a huge impact in my life, entire 15 years. So like in my career, in my professional journey, in my volunteer journey, in my daily life, you know, just like I got inspired from so many great leaders in this network, and still going on. And every single day I learn a lot from you know, just these inspiring people. One of them, two of them are here in the session, Lavanga and Dr. Ramalatha. So like you are both wonderful leaders. So thank you so much for everything you have shared in my story. And Juliana, you are wonderful too, and learned a lot, and you know, just like had the pleasure working together with you in this journey. So like in my humanitarian activities involvement, I was in site steering committee first time in 2017 or 16. Yeah, I think 16, and served several roles at the steering committee over years. And then I served 3 years also in the humanitarian activities committee, and this year I'm the communications chair. So like humanitarian activities committee is a one way to serve back to community in IEEE structure, but actually all our volunteers who are in the field, who are actually, you know, just like addressing the real needs of the underserved groups, and you know, just like leveraging technologies for a goodwill, and you know, just like reaching so many people with all these ideas. We are all doing this hard work and great work together. So like humanitarian activities committee and site steering committee volunteers are here to serve back and just recognize people who are doing wonderful job in the field. So that's why actually, well, it's like all IEEE structure. The real volunteers in the field are doing the great job, and the volunteer leaders in these positions for a certain period of time, we are serving back to community. So that's why I love IEEE journey and all the volunteer leadership roles that I served before. I felt like, you know, just now time to recognize future leaders with this opportunity, and having the same experience with humanitarian activities committee this year, and you know, so many things to share. And, just like probably I will address more during the, just like discussion, but I can say I ended up as entrepreneur in the field that I'm passionate, the technology I'm passionate for, by learning from this network, by seeing the emerging technologies from the field that I experienced, which was photovoltaic industry before, by engaging, just like so many great projects with volunteers together. So I was working for corporate industry, a photovoltaic industry, and I lived in China. So I live in Turkey. I lived in Turkey and China, work in these countries most of the time, while traveling around for the same purpose, for the same mission and vision to leverage clean energy technologies for humanity. And just like I got inspired from this network and from my peers to be entrepreneur in the future technology of the photovoltaics, which was the energy storage for my case. So like, and this is the same for all the volunteers in the field. Like humanitarian activities are recognizing emerging technologies and future technologies and all those ideas who are willing to serve for the humanity in wherever it is needed. So like the same purpose, we are all developing humanitarian activities projects across the world. And for the women in engineering involvement, I serve as, well, my journey started as a student volunteer. Well, I served several roles when I was student branch volunteer in my university. It was one of the most active university in my club. In university, it was one of the most active student club in my university, and I was inspired and impressed what everything they are doing. So I serve as Women in Engineering student branch affinity group chair and student branch chair and several other roles. That time it was my first Women in Engineering involvement, and over years, like I served so many other roles, but it was my first involvement as a Region 8 student, Region 8 Women in Engineering coordinator back in 2015. And we have the MGA committee, which we call is like central, like global committee, where Ramalatha served as the chair. And it was an opportunity to get inspired, like as a young volunteer from her. And I serve other roles as young professional representative of Women in Engineering and Women in Power representative in the committee, almost like 7 years. In parallel, I was also serving for the SIGHT steering committee and humanitarian activities committee. So like my diverse experience really, did help me to get inspired from all these leaders and have the vision of both. So that's why today in this session, I would like to address how much the vision of Women in Engineering and SIGHT are matching and how we contribute in this field together by having all these projects. So I'll keep it short and brief. I hope it was not too long for the introduction, and I'll share more when we're back in the discussion.
Wonderful, Simay. Thank you so much for sharing about your experience. It's been quite several years, and it sounds like you've had the opportunity to serve in multiple roles, not just in SIGHT, AJC, and WIE, but in IEEE as well. And I know that to be the truth. So thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Ramalatha, we'll go ahead and turn the stage over to you now. We'd love to hear more about your experience as well.
Thank you very much, Juliana. I would like to thank yourself and Simay for having me here, which is an exciting opportunity for me. I have served in IEEE past 20 years, and I always love talking about our projects, and IEEE SIGHT has been my savior in every step of the way. When I started my projects for humanitarian activities, the SIGHT and IEEE Humanitarian Activities Committee was the first one, because I was a member of the first Humanitarian Activities Committee, which was started by Ramalatha. And I was so inspired by the way it moved forward. And after that also, it has been great working with the IEEE SIGHT staff as well as the volunteers. And with IEEE Women in Engineering, I have been for the past 17 years, in fact. And again, I would say that every step of the way, IEEE Women in Engineering has been my home, my family, and every one of the family members have been so supportive. So I'm just comparing Women in Engineering and SIGHT, how it created opportunities for me as well as the people around me. I have introduced myself as a part of the IEEE SIGHT and Women in Engineering. I am also part of the IEEE Computer Society. For the past 5 years, I have been a member in the IEEE Computer Society for the past 7 years. And I started IEEE Women in Engineering in my student branch section region. I took over in 2008. And after that, I became the committee member 2011 and 12. And I founded the IEEE SIGHT seat in my student branch. And it has been still going on, though I am out of the university. So the mission of Women in Engineering is to facilitate the recruitment and retention of women in technical disciplines with the usage of the technology and bring out a vibrant community of IEEE women and men collectively using their diverse talents to innovate for the benefit of humanity. You can see that both this as well as the IEEE SIGHT has the same kind of mission, though the wordings are a little different. So the first thing I would like to talk about was how Women in Engineering helped me understand the humanitarian technology, the basics of the humanitarian technology. The first thing we did as a project was, though we started very early bringing out outreach programs, this was the first major project we brought out when I was the Region 10 Women in Engineering Coordinator in 2008. So the access to technology is not equal all over the world, and it has to be, this is the digital divide that I'm talking about. So we actually started a project called Sangamam to bring technology to the rural masses. And this was a sample of the project. This is a tribal village called Supur in Karnataka. There were only 15 houses, and this 15 houses, they never had electricity in their lives. And with the help of the students from Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, we brought electricity because the children, younger children, they started needing the electricity. They wanted to go to school. Otherwise, there was a lot of dropout from the school, and Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, they took over. And the catch here is that we did not use professional electricians from outside. The students themselves, they wired the houses with the help of the electrician from their institute, and they also learned everything in the process. The second project I would like to talk about is the water purifier, which we implemented in one of the villages nearby to Coimbatore, where I'm residing. The water was so filthy. We don't know the reason, though, with taking into account that there was a tobacco factory nearby. It was not because of the infiltration. So the water was not able to stay fresh even for 4 hours. Up to 6 hours, it will be okay. After that, it will become so smelly, and whatever they cook, that also became so smelly, and the food also spoiled. And we were able to find, these are some of the natural herbs that the tree barks, leaves, dried leaves, seeds, all those things we used as filters in our biomedical laboratory. And there we were able to find out how this water could be treated. And we found that the moringa seeds were the best filter for treating this, for that pH. Then the next one is women empowerment. We were talking about how the women are to be brought in because of the imbalance in the men and women numbers. And so entrepreneurship is the only way to increase the women empowerment. And we started training them for some of the projects like this, making toys using materials which are available locally, indigenously. And this is one of the materials called coir pith. And they used latex along with it to press it into some shapes and then wind silk thread over it in toys. And the difficulty was that they were not able to the pressure to bring it into the correct shape or the mold. And there actually we stepped in and we brought out a machine which could automatically mix the latex and the coir and bring it into a mold, and we supplied it to them. So we connected it with the help of the Agriculture University in Coimbatore, and this actually helped them. Then the last one I'm going to talk about in Women in Engineering is career reboot. I have been very much interested in bringing women back to the career. As you know, many women leave the jobs, leave the career, and they never come back. And it is a complete waste of the talent pool that we have created with our education, training, all those things. So I started Retired Mothers workshops in 2014. And over the years, it actually brought out wonderful support from the World Bank. And because of the insistence of the World Bank, we opened it as a conference. And IEEE Women in Engineering and IEEE Computer Society have been wonderful supporters for this conference till date. This was in 2019, and 2020 and 21, unfortunately, was virtual. But even then, I'm very happy that we were able to do it virtually, because I was able to work with Simay. Because it was a virtual one, she also helped me bring out the benefit of the conference to the people in Region 8. As you know, she is in Region 8, and she has been a great supporter for this conference. And because of her, we were able to get 47 countries registered for this with 456 registrations. So see the collaboration that happens between us, that actually helps so many people. Now let us talk about IEEE SIGHT. As I told you, I started the IEEE SIGHT in Madras section. That was in 2009, I think. I'm not very sure. After that, I started it in my student branch also in 2016. And again, the mission of both coincide very well, bringing technology to the people, bringing solutions, sustainable solutions, and focused on the local community. So that is where actually we can bring out sustainable development. So the first project that we did with a site was disaster management. Because of the severity of a cyclone, it was called Gaja at that time. It was in 2018, and it completely uprooted the lives of so many people. Around 84,000 people were housed in concentration camps without even proper drinking water or facilities, not even the light. So with the help of IEEE SIGHT and IEEE Madras section, we provided water pumps and also solar lights for nearly 400 families. And it was a great feeling seeing that these people, they also supported our work when we were doing, and they were very happy that at least this was available for them. And after that, because of this, it was also like the farmers were also affected. It was a complete devastation in that Delta area. So for that, we provided workshops, and we encouraged the women also to come up to the houses and work with men in farms, so that this sustainable agriculture can be brought to the people around. And the women got so much interested. You can see that the number of women who were attending the workshops and visiting the farms which we brought them to. It was a natural agricultural farm, and they were following the whole thing fully, and we were able to produce 5 acres of land with wonderful harvesting. This lady is so happy because she was able to do it herself. It was her land and she was able to do it herself. So similarly, we had some individual farmers with small pockets of land who were able to adapt to this natural agricultural methods, and they were able to harvest for the next season a great harvest. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the innovation. This is something which is very close to my heart because I started because of my education background. I have been interested in bringing only project-based learning for my students all along, and IEEE Assistant was born out of that passion. I started it in 2013. It's a unique kind of activity where we have prelims conducted all over the world, and the finals will be conducted in one country, and the students who were selected from the prelims will be presenting their ideas in the finals. And this is a great networking platform, collaborating platform, because we are following only the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it is a service learning oriented education. In addition, they get international exposure because people from different countries, they do projects and present it. They also get some ideas out of it. More importantly, many of these students who had confidence in their outcome, they have incubated their project into a company. Some of them have startups, and some of them have commercialized their products even during the finals itself. So as you can see, in 2021, we had around 20 countries and 470 registrations. Every year we get around 500 registrations. But with the prelims, I would say that we are actually serving around 3,000 students all over the world, students and young professionals. And the motivation is to increase the social responsibility and the ethics in their minds, and to encourage the service-oriented engineering practice. This actually brings out the enjoyment in their learning, which increases their passion and also their career. So these are some of the glimpses. We have 5 tracks, which is for school students. We Power, this is the World Bank supported one. This is for power and energy. The special track, which gives out themes differently every year. And Maker Fair is the one which we need the prototype out, and Innovation Challenge is where we look for the innovation component. And because of all these things, I would say I have got a great networking all over the world with the support of Women in Engineering and IEEE SIGHT. I was able to deploy so many projects for the students, school children, and also the young professionals. And this has brought out a wonderful friend network all over the world. So I'm so happy that if I can make an impact on so many people, joining together, we will be able to make so much of impact. So I'll just finish with my favorite quote. If you think you are too small to have an impact, try going to bed with a mosquito in the room. So I'm sure we are more than mosquitoes. We'll be able to make a wonderful impact. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Ramalatha and Simay, for the awesome, inspirational presentations. Wow, that's awesome. Juliana, the next session will be like question and answer sessions.
Yes, so we now have several minutes to take some question and answers from any of our attendees. Those questions can be about IEEE in general. and volunteering experiences with IEEE. They can be specifically about women in engineering and the SIGHT programs. We'd be happy to take any of your questions. For all of our attendees, feel free to put those either in the chat section or in the question and answer panel, and I can share them on your response to our speakers today.
I have a question for Simay, if she doesn't mind.
Absolutely.
You are an entrepreneur, Simay. So with your business, with your, and you have international business connections. You are having a company in 2 countries. And with that, how do you find the time for volunteering? And how are you so effective making your way in different committees and taking everything in and bringing out so much of expressions? So just tell me.
I love the question. Thank you so much for addressing that, because that is, well, there always just like a question about just like if volunteering takes our time from something or makes us less efficient. For my answer is volunteering is definitely my secret garden. Is like that makes me more efficient by just contributing, learning, and inspiring, and being inspired from many people. So like as an entrepreneur, like international business, just like takes a lot of time for all the time zones and nowadays travels, like in last couple of years we were more virtual, but then more busy with the different time zones. But all those volunteering experience, especially the diverse volunteering experience, give me some space to think and more refresh and be beneficial for other fields and others, and then and bring all the experience back to my own, just like by not direct impact only, there are a lot of indirect impact, because like if you focus on other things and be beneficial for other important issues, then you have more efficiency in your own work as well. So that's actually the way that I feel more efficient and I spend more time, because it's not about how much minutes you spend on one project. It's all about, just efficiency. And volunteering makes us more diverse, colorful, beautiful, and as a whole, we learn a lot from each other. So for many ways. And then they're always, just like, and you go back volunteering when you're just like, do this for 10 minutes, do volunteering for another 10 minutes. I'm just like saying, of course, it's not 10 minutes, but 10 minutes will make that 10 minutes for you like efficiency of an hour. So then you just like, you're more fruitful in different parts of your life. And we also spend time for our own. I think that's also very important. We need to address, because, just like our own mindfulness, health is very important for us to contribute volunteering and also work. I think we need to balance, we need to also spend some time for our health and maintain our health. And that will also makes us more efficient for both volunteering and work. And I also try to spend some time for my own and just care for my health, physical and mental health, and go back to everything I do and be more efficient for volunteering and work together.
Awesome, Simay. My takeaway is that all the trial and error that you make in the volunteering, that will be helpful for your entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Then the second one is health. You have to balance between your health and your work. Wonderful. Thank you, Simay.
Of course.
That was a very inspiring response. Thank you, Simay. So we do have some questions that are coming in from our attendees today. This one is for both of our panelists. What inspired you to become an IEEE member? And I'll ask Dr. Ramalatha if she could respond to this one first.
Okay. To tell you the truth, in fact, I became an IEEE member because in my university, there was one one workshop which was exclusively for IEEE members only. And I was in the third year, I think, third year of my undergrad. And at that time, I didn't know what was IEEE membership, but I wanted to attend that particular workshop. So I said, okay, let us become the IEEE member also, but I promptly forgot about it immediately after that workshop, I would say. But in around 21 years ago, when I started work in a urban college, I have been in different colleges, rural, urban, women only, co-ed, everywhere. And when I started it in 2000, I actually thought I should do something different if I want to bring vibrancy in the students, because I thought that it was so dull and they were not having so much fun, I would say. So I thought that I should start something, and I was just going through internet and searching for something. At that time, in fact, one of the visitors to our college, he mentioned that IEEE membership will be a very useful one for the students. And after that, I actually went through the IEEE website, and I was able to learn so much. And I invited that person again to give his overviews. He is none other than Suresh Chandrapal, the ombudsman in Madras section. Wonderful, wonderful volunteer. And I would say he was the most vibrant one, even at 72 years of age when I invited him. And that inspired me so much. So that was the reason I became IEEE member, because of him.
Thank you. How about you, Simay? What inspired you to become an IEEE member?
Well, actually, by being IEEE member, my involvement is from student branch. So then I was not aware how big family it is, like how international it is. IEEE is huge, beautifully diverse, it took me a year to discover that. And I was even lucky to discover because, it's when you are a student in the first couple of years, first you discover your student branch. If your student branch members are inspiring and active, you stay with them. For me, first I was impressed because, they were very active student club, the events they were organizing, technical projects, the large scale, career events there. That was so impressive. And I really thought they were just a student club, very active student club as compared to many. And I also appreciate all the active student clubs in my university. I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. They're doing a wonderful job, but IEEE was so special. And the team really inspired me. So all these people learn from each other and they have the same vision. So actually they represent IEEE vision in their local community. So that was inspiring. But then I traveled to that was not Young Profession Congress at that time, but Student Branches Congress of Region 8 in 2007 in London. So that was I was not aware it's such a huge international family, because, when we have these regional student young professional congresses these days, we have real IEEE leaders visiting there, where I met with Ramalatha when she was Women in Engineering chair back in 2012. And, just as we have the student congresses, but IEEE leadership and there to inspire you in these events. And I was lucky to travel one of them in 2008. And I said, this is the world that I'm going to stay for the rest of my life, because I discover it's not student organization, and it's just a huge family. And every single year, by being engaged in different organizational units and so on, and you keep learning from different people, and we change heads. This is also important. That's why we are very diverse. So we're involved in different organizational units. You work with similar people in different projects, and then we all share this knowledge between each other, and this keeps us connected. So you're actually meeting with your friends, you're gaining lifelong friends where you really respect, because every single volunteer you work together, your team members, your leaders, senior level leadership, they are all part of your life, and this is part of the journey. So then when you're a passionate IEEE volunteer, every single year you add something in your journey, and then you would like to contribute and you would like to give back. That's why, I mean, also I referred earlier, that's why you would like to serve another leadership role or membership role, member of any team. It's not about serving a chair position of some committees. Sometimes chair positions having more commitment and dedicate more time to give back the community, but team member of those, you know, just leaders that you respect and learn from each other. And I always like learn from team members as well as I learn from the leaders that I work with. So I think every single person we work is very inspirational in different ways, and we keep learning from each other in this network. That's why I keep contribute volunteering every single year in different roles in different heads.
Wonderful. That was very inspiring, Simay. Thank you. Okay, so we have this is more of a comment from Dr. Kit August, who's the chair of the New Jersey Coast Section Site Group and is also involved with WIE. She says, thank you so much for your excellent viewpoints and experiences. This is awe-inspiring. And she also has a question. So this one is a little bit different from our last question. Can you share your insights into connecting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals directly into IEEE Technical Society presentations and meetings? Do you have a list or PowerPoint slides that you could share? For example, how can a researcher connect their topics on photovoltaics directly with a sustainable development goal so that people can see the role models in everyday activities of IEEE? That was quite a long question, so I can put it in the chat so you can read that again for our panelists.
That will be great. Well, I'm sure we both have you know, just like a great answer for the question. I just want to make sure that I'm addressing everything is asked, because there are so many ways to connect United Nations Sustainable Development Goals with IEEE technical societies. Well, I'm a member of SSIT and Power Energy Society. So IEEE Power Energy Society is my main society actually, and I'm working in the photovoltaics and energy storage. So I can actually address from my point of view. I have some slides, but I don't know if I can find the right one in short period of time to answer this question, but I can definitely answer verbally first and share more information later. Dr. Ramalatha, would you like to go first, or do you want me to take the question? Okay, so and from my point of view, like they're like sustainable development goals, several of them are part of the clean energy, but one of them is very specific to clean energy. And I also won some sustainable development, well, actually global sustainability awards regarding my you know, just like business model, also very recently in 2021. And, you know, just like addressing this SDG 7. So like, and photovoltaics, clean energy technologies, emerging technologies are part of the clean SDG 7, but also the other sustainable development goals can be relevant to humanitarian activities, and also the other, you know, they're just like not very separate than each other. So we generally like address more than one SDG goals in many projects, and also for the humanitarian activities too. Most of all the humanitarian activities projects are covering several SDG goals in under one project too. And you know, just like and technical societies, and every IEEE technical society, they have their own focus. So like we can actually refer several of them, but I can address Power Energy Society, where we also have the humanitarian activities initiated under the Power Energy Society, and there are technical council. There's a technical council, there are like the technical working groups addressing some of these emerging technologies, and they also care about SDG 7 and the other sustainable development goals. And the photovoltaics can be also relevant to SDG 7, which is the clean energy technology. And I want to say this is like not only photovoltaics, because that was another reason that I became entrepreneur. I was working for a corporate photovoltaic manufacturer, very large scale corporate photovoltaic manufacturer. And those years I was in China, I was based in their headquarters, but I was like having conversation with my current partners, who are the co-founders of the INOCES, that where I'm also co-founder of, and we were just discussing in our friend table, you know, like a dinner table, how to contribute more to sustainable development goals and how to take initiative, because this is vision, you know, like IEEE volunteers and members, we have the same vision as well, and my partners are also IEEE members, and you know, just like we were saying, where the photovoltaics industry is going, which actions we can take, what initiatives we could take. And we were seeing as a future direction as energy storage, because there is a need for the energy storage technology deployment, and where we have seen our role. But over years, we had this friendly conversation about emerging technologies and so on. One day when we had the right opportunity and right conditions, time, so we had a call and just said, we are ready, shall we go for this business model? And we became entrepreneur in the field. Energy storage technologies are not directly photovoltaics, but supporting the photovoltaic systems, electric vehicles, and many others. So like how we inspire each other by having these conversations. And this is like a real entrepreneurship model. And these are all relevant because, you know, like when I was working for photovoltaic industry, I was just learning about emerging technologies and energy storage, electric vehicles, and many others from IEEE Power Society's technical councils. And otherwise, I wouldn't be ready to leave my comfort zone and corporate photovoltaic company and go for an emerging technology and be an entrepreneur. But in this, so in the IEEE umbrella, under IEEE umbrella, we have so many great societies and working groups are just like we're able to learn from others. That's a huge opportunity. And it's not only photovoltaic or Power Energy Society field. I'm member of Power Energy Society, and we have different technical expertise, but we are sharing a lot, and we are sharing our knowledge by this opportunity. And you are not just focused on one single technology, and we have very beautiful, diverse experience by having each other. And then today, you know, like we can just learn a lot from computer society members. Maybe we will meet somewhere else in the middle. Maybe we will discuss about artificial intelligence with energy storage technologies, and tomorrow we will have another idea. So that's the beauty of this network. So we are not just like focusing on one single point. We are seeing the future together. We are going future together. That's why I really find IEEE network so inspiring. I hope it addressed the question. I can even give more answer, but I would like to also give floor to Dr. Ramalatha, then we can complete each other.
Thank you so much, Simay. I'm just keeping an eye on our time. I know we're just about at the hour mark. If both of you have about 5 more minutes, I'd like to actually give another question to Dr. Ramalatha, because this one I think is just really important and something that is certainly many IEEE members are considering right now. This question comes from Vina, and she is asking if there's any specific ways in which you use to motivate student participation in site activities. And I think we could broaden that out to ask about WIE activities and IEEE activities as well. Dr. Ramalatha?
Sure. In fact, the students actually love to learn from their juniors rather than their teachers. So when I was the student branch counselor, the first thing I did was ask my students to teach the school children. For example, if you can think of what they learned in the school and what they are learning in the engineering is actually an expansion of whatever they have learned in the school. The only thing is, right now, when they are in engineering, whatever theoretically they have learned, they are trying to make it into a practical one. So I asked them to bring out some projects, for example, for Newton's laws, for anything like physics or chemistry, whatever it is, they usually have some sort of projects. But here I actually asked them to bring out some a working model which they have not learned in their curriculum, but which will actually explain a particular law. And we went and taught the school children about that, and the school children were so inspired. And especially when we talked about the robots and other things, it was like they didn't want to leave the children. Like they were continuously asking questions, and my students were not able to leave the place at all. So this is how actually we can connect them and give the pride of learning engineering for our students. So the pride and enjoyment in learning engineering actually brings out their passion for engineering. And for this outreach programs, the community-oriented service learning projects, all these things are very important. Just now, Simay was talking about how interdisciplinary projects or interdisciplinary things are very important. As she says, I'm also a part of SSIT, Society on Social Implications of Technology. And particularly in that, I'm a member of the Universal Access to Technology. And I have also published some papers, particularly for special children and special needs of the elderly people. And all these actually need not only my area, but I need people from the different engineering areas also to make it work. So because of that, I have asked many of my students to come together as a group or a team and work on some of the projects. And this interdisciplinary projects are a wonderful way of making them interested in learning more. So this is how you should talk to the students and bring them into the IEEE IEEE umbrella by bringing out some competitions, bringing out some projects, ask them to do it, and just by seeing this, they will become IEEE members also. So membership engagement is first important to increase the membership development. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, I believe so. Thank you both so much. Unfortunately, we're already past our time. This has been just a great engaging time of some questions and answers. And I know that everyone on the line has enjoyed hearing about your experiences. We'll also be sharing this session recording with those who have registered and more widely throughout the year, so others can benefit also from your thoughts and recommendations today. We're getting a lot of encouraging feedback here in the comments as well. Just, thanks to both of you for sharing your story. It's been awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing your starting steps, and great to see that transition, Simay, from student volunteer to global leader. Exceptional answer. So unfortunately, we don't have time for just the other questions that have been submitted, but this conversation can, of course, continue, right? Like Simay was saying, IEEE, it's a big family, and those connections have been made through this session. And so if anyone has a question for our panelists and we didn't get a chance to discuss those, please feel free to send those to me in response to my follow-up email, which will go out later today. And I'd be happy to pass those on to our panelists. Wanga, if you're still there, would you like to give some closing thoughts to this session?
Sure. Thank you once again to each one of us for taking off some time to participate in today's Sight Day activity. And as well, again, thank our two great panelists, Dr. Ramalatha and Ms. Simay. Thanks so much for the great inspirational presentations, and indeed for taking off time off your busy schedules to participate in today's event. While I also wish each one of us the very best of success in all what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. And thank you, Juliana. It was a great, wonderful opportunity for me to be with Simay. who has been my supporter all the way through. Thank you
Nice.
so much.
Sure.
Lovely having you both today on this event, and thank you to all who
Thank you
joined.
so much, Juliana, Lavanga, and Ramalatha. It was just so wonderful, and happy Sight Day, and also happy 25th anniversary for Women in Engineering. And I would like to recognize Cinzia Davia, who is coordinating this initiative and giving us this floor and connecting Sight, IEEE Sight Day celebration and Women in Engineering 25th anniversary in the year. And it was so wonderful being together with all the participants and together with you.